end solution. So what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be changing roles during this presentation, sometimes presenting as the as a store manager, a store associate would be seeing the solution, sometimes like a buyer, sometimes like somebody managing inventory, etc. And to do that, I would like to start by showing a typical buyer role. And one of the key elements of the solution is that it's a role-based solution. So depending on my role, what I am, what I do for the organization, the starting screens are going to show that. In this case, I connect as the retail buyer, and all the pieces and segments you see here on the screen are completely customizable and configurable. You will put here whatever you think you need, whatever this person needs. So in this case, the buyer, under the activity section, they can see what's going on right now. So these are like POs that the buyer is still working on, and which have not been sent to the vendors yet. So it's 37 orders, and if I click on this button, I can see all those orders. Let me see. I see some Spanglish in here, and that's because I didn't select the right language. So let me put this in full English. Sorry about that. I just realized about it. Um, okay, so there we are under the activity section, 37 POs, but the system itself has some other capabilities because POs can either be manually typed by the buyer, but they can also be suggested by the system by the replenishment module. So these are the ones suggested by the replenishment module, and maybe to be sent directly to a store, and these are POs that are meant to be received maybe in a central warehouse, a central location, to be distributed later. Here on the bottom, we have POs that have already been sent to vendors, so we are waiting for them. And also in my business scenario, the retail buyer is responsible of transferring goods between stores and between locations. So in here I have a section saying that well, there are 16 transfer orders that were created and pushed by the buyer, and there are some others that were also triggered automatically by the replenishment module, suggesting these transfers among stores, among distribution centers. The store buyer can also do a recall, asking for things to be sent back to the main warehouse, and so forth. So as I was saying, in my business scenario, the buyer is also responsible for the transfers. And somebody might tell me, no, Marco, in here, that's the responsibility of the warehouse manager. So these sections are all customizable. So we can get rid of these documents from here and send and make sure that they are loaded on the warehouse manager profile. And some people other times tell me, well, the buyer in here it's also responsible about the accounts payable. So we can add sections like this on the outstanding invoices that need to be paid in the next 30, 60, 90 days. All of this, it's going to be tailored based on your needs. And actually, you're going to learn how to tailor this. So because this is always a working process, and you can continue improving the way the system provides information to you. So underneath, for instance, I have a graphic saying how many sales orders there are by different stores or warehouses that I have, because maybe there's a metric here that the store buyer also needs to pay attention to. On the right, I have another section saying how many POs are opened, still outstanding, still in draft, and how many others have been sent to the vendors. And because this is another metric that I use to measure the buyer. maybe this graph is currently in bars, and maybe you can say, I would like to see it in pie. Well, that's also something that can be customized. Also, a short list of the most important vendors for these buyers, so they can be on screen, and very easily he or she can simply dial them. Or also the most important items, the top items, can be also seen in here. If you see the ribbon on top, it's very similar to a ribbon on any other Microsoft solution like in Excel, Word, PowerPoint. And these ribbons are customizable too. I have two sections, actions and reports. Under actions, I selected the most typical actions that a buyer would be performing, maybe updating prices or maybe checking requisition worksheets, checking discounts. And on reports, we have a very large assortment of reports that we consider a typical buyer would be using on a daily basis. Reports based on items, on sales, shrinkage, replenishment, etc. And they can be either placed in small icons like these or big icons like these ones. They can have menus inside of them. So whatever you think it's going to be in the benefit of the person executing this role, it's what it's going to be here. And also some other actions here on the left, and everything is customizable. Okay, I'm going to close the role of the buyer, and I'm going to switch to the role of the store manager. And you can see it's the same screen, but it's showing different information there, because now it's the information that is relevant to the store associate, to the store manager. So in here, there's also an activities pane, but now it's showing, if you can see, there are different numbers because these are documents that belong to this store manager. In my business scenario, the store manager can also create POs and place them directly to the vendors, and maybe they're going to be delivered directly at the store. So this store manager has two POs, and here I can see those POs to property management and to Dan's Dairy. And you can again say, in our business model, store managers do not buy anything. Everything it's bought centrally. So as simple as removing this button, and there is no way they can access the POs. Maybe they only send stock requests, and this needs to go under an authorization process. And maybe that's the function. That's the way we are going to replenish the stores manually. So in here, this store manager, it's asking for 10 of these items. This requisition can be sent, and whether approved or rejected afterwards. I also have here, for instance, all the outstanding documents. What's going to take place at my store today? 6 vendors are going to deliver items directly to my store today. I am not waiting for no order. It's going to be received today, being a transfer, whether from a warehouse or another store, etc. And Rick was talking about these customer orders. So whatever it's triggered by a customer ordering at the store of items that maybe I do not have right now at my store, but I requested another store or a warehouse to send it to me, but also maybe another store is demanding an item that I have. So I can also ship those items to that particular store, or maybe I will ship those directly to the customer. It's quite flexible, and I will show you all the possibilities in a bit when I go from the back office into the point of sales. I also have another metric in here. I have the store sales, and in this case, this store has 5 different terminals. A store can have as few as only 1 terminal at every store, or we can power a complete supermarket with 30 plus lanes. So in this case, the store manager wants to see here the stores per point of sale. And underneath that, I have the store sales by hour. I can see how my store is performing from 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12, and so forth. And as you can see, whenever I put my mouse on top of one of these, I can see the actual number that this is representing. On the other section, I have some store alerts because the system can issue some alerts. I don't know, maybe a PO has been open for so long, or I have not closed the day for one of the store terminals. There are a large assortment of messages that the system can send to the store manager. And here I have another section for store sales. In this case, it's the sales for today, from yesterday, from the week, the month, the year, etc. I can also compare those to last year. And I also have a messenger that it's that I can push messages to all the different stores. If you see on the upper ribbons, the actions, in this case, it's very simplified. We wanted to make it simple for the managers, and maybe we consider that this is the only action that it's important to have in here. If you remember, the buyer had a large assortment of actions. Not necessarily that this is the only thing that a store manager does. This is just to show you how the system changes from one profile to other. And on the reports, we only put one report there. But of course, this is something you can customize, add as many reports out of our existing assortment of reports, or you can even create your own reports and add them into the menu. Any questions so far, Jim or Kristen?
I think you're explaining it pretty well, so no.
Thank you. Okay. Well, let me move on. As I said, this is the profile of any given person, but of course the system, as Rick was saying, can handle everything from your organization, everything from the accounting, the cash management, costing, accounts payables, receivables, inventory, fixed assets, all the sales process. When it's not retail, but it's more like a wholesale, or also when we are shipping orders to the different customers, we need some controls in here about picking, packing, shipping the items, all the PO cycle together with a planning solution, so the system can suggest when to buy, etc. All the control of the warehouse. If we manufacture, which in a way we do, also all the manufacturing, service plans, etc., human resources, and all the retail section. This is one of the things that makes us unique. It's a full-blown accounting system, a full-blown ERP, but with a retail taste, with a retail flavor. Everything is built into the system. It's not one solution for the accounting and a separate one for the retail, for the stores. That's what makes us so flexible, and that's why we can control customer orders directly at the POS, because it's one single solution. We would be running Microsoft Dynamics back there in the back office, over there in the corporate headquarters, in the distribution center. So accounting is going to produce the P&L directly from Microsoft Dynamics, and the store as well. They are going to open the store. They are going to put the float into the cashier to handle the day-to-day operations, and the tickets themselves, they are going to be issued directly from Microsoft Dynamics, from LSNAV. So it's one single solution all over the place. So you only need to learn one solution. You only need to manage one solution, and also it's full customizable on both ends. So here under the retail section, we have, of course, the POS itself, but that's not all. All the product design, all the product management. A product in retail, it's not like a wholesaler. It's not like producing something to be sold, a manufacturer and sold wholesale. And we are selling art, so we need pictures of the art piece. We need a description, what technique was used, who's the painter, etc. What's the size of of the picture, what technique was used. So we need to provide more information rather than simply manufacturing, I don't know, screwdrivers or something like that. So we can add all of that information also under our product management. And ours, it's a unified commerce solution, or what used to be called an omni retail solution. We know that you do not only sell at the galleries, you also sell online. You may also want the customers to download an app with your look and feel so that they can browse the galleries right there from their phone and maybe order from their phone. So that's why all these pieces of information are so significant, because uh, by creating the items just once, you're making this item available through all these channels. Sales and marketing, we always need to provide the customers with some incentives to buy, some promotions, some discounts, etc. And that's also handled centrally together with all the management of the loyalty program, the member management solution that will get them points every time they buy something, that will get them exclusive promotions, so that they can come and use them maybe on their birthday, their anniversary, or for any other reasons, depending on how we segment our customers, our consumers. We can push them specific offers and promotions. We also have an activity module. So in case maybe you are providing with lessons, with classes in the galleries, how to paint, showing techniques, stuff like that. Maybe you want to create a master class. Maybe you only can host up to seven people there. So you want them to subscribe. You want to control how many places are still available for that master class. We can control that as well. And maybe the master class includes also the materials, the canvas, the brushes, etc., so that they can also be included into the master class. And by the time we collect them, we will book for the room, for the material, etc. Maybe we're going to use a model for the master class. That's a resource also of our class that represents a cost, and this will also allocate that resource when we are having a master class. And of course, all the control of the items within the store, whether we are buying them, producing them, transferring from one location to another, that it's also going to be taken care from here. Replenishment, when we are buying goods, as I said, we can manually send a request. The buyer can manually create a PO and order some stuff, but also the system can start analyzing our trends within our stores and realize how frequent I am using some items, so that the system can suggest ahead of time, you should order more brushes of these, or canvases, or whatever, so that we will not be in zero inventory at any moment. The web integration, I already discussed about it a little bit. The online store that I will show you in a bit. All the staff management. How many employees do I have? Are they store managers, store associates, cashiers? What roles they have, and what they can or cannot do at the point of sales. Maybe a cashier cannot provide a discount on a painting, but maybe a store associate can, or even just the store manager or the store associate can go as far as 5 or 10%, and the store manager can go as high as 50, 20% discount. I don't know. We can also handle that. And we can also do a time acceptance on our employees. We can create the shifts ahead of time. We know it's going to be a major holiday. We need some extra hands on deck at the store, so we can publish these extra hours so people can, our staff members can volunteer for these ones, or I know I need to do a physical inventory at the store, so I'm going to need an extra pair of hands over there. We can handle that also from the staff management module. Okay. Any questions so far, Jim, Kristen? Is the pace okay? Are we good?
Just keep going.
Very good. Okay, so I'm gonna go into the.
Kristen, did
Yes.
you ever get your? Kristen, did you ever get online?
I'm using my phone to do it because I couldn't get the internet to work, so I'm on GoToMeeting on an app.
Okay. Oh, but
Okay, well.
you can see the screen. It's just small, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if there is something that is way too small for you, Kristen, please do not hesitate to ask, and I would be more than happy to reply to your questions.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna log in into the point of sales, and the point of sale, it's completely customizable. We ship the solution with about 15, 20 suggestions on how the POS can look, but this is just a template. This is just a beginning point because you will put your flavor into it. I mean, even the colors that you see here, you can change them, and they can even change by season if you want to make it more appealing and nicer to work with. And in here you can see we have 15 different layouts that the point of sale can have. And I'm going to start with a very typical one, what you usually expect of a point of sales. A journal for the items you're ordering, totals, some sections here to control the lookups, to look up for an item, change a price, select a customer, maybe a numeric keypad here on the right, because maybe this is a touch screen point of sales device. And underneath, some customer information here in blue, some transaction information in green on the other side. And this is just one very typical one. I'm going to show you another one that looks a little bit more modern, with the sections grouped differently, but you can see it's the same solution, it's the same POS. Everything you see on screen, you can modify it. You can put pictures on the items instead of simply a description. Maybe this button here, customer, if I press this button, it shows me the list of customers. Maybe I want to move it here to this empty one. So it's as simple as copying this button and pasting it in here. And now I have the customer button in here. And if I press this button, it's also going to do the same functionality. So I do not need to be a programmer. I don't need to code to make things happen into the point of sales. I can change the sizes, the colors, the fonts, just to make it easier for the people running the solution to serve the customers. I don't know, maybe even the current point of sales, whenever you press the F1 key, that's for paying in cash, and maybe F2, it's for paying with credit. We can also mimic that behavior, and we can assign function keys to certain functions within the solution to make it easier to operate. I even have another layout that we think it's very suitable for a tablet, for a Windows tablet, or maybe even an iPad or something like that, because maybe I will be holding the tablet with my two hands, and these very large buttons on the left and on the right are very easy to be operated with my thumbs. So that's why we have this other layout. And in this case, I'm selling clothing in this example. Remember the children I just showed you with pictures? Well, in this one, I didn't want pictures. I only want descriptions. And actually, these menus in here can be built automatically. As soon as I add more items, they can show in here. And I can sell, I don't know, I can sell these shorts in here, and I can see the item picture and the price. And no particular discount. There is currently no promotion running right now on this item. And again, this is some shorts, but imagine anything from your gallery in here. And I'm going to swipe my hand from right to left. And you can see I am showing a larger picture of the item and a full-blown description. And this is an open text. So in here, you can describe in the best possible way you can what you want to transmit to to your customers. So if they are at the store and they are seeing something, this can even be on a customer-facing screen, so the customer can see a better picture and they can see an entire description of the item that they are seeing. But in this case, I selected the item first, and I can provide the information afterwards. I can select this sweater or these pants, and it is the same. But sometimes the customers, they want to be guided into what they can buy. Okay, so let me finalize this sale. I'm going to cash this one, and I'm going to pay cash. And well, another option that I have here is the quick cash or the smart cash function, where I'm going to try to guess how's the customer going to pay based on the combination of denominations of bills and coins. So let's say that they're paying with 200. So I'm going to select this one. And so I don't have to type again the amount. And I have another option. The system is asking me if I want to also send a copy of the receipt by email to my customer. So I'm gonna punch in my demo email address. It's not that that's my real address, of course. And I'm gonna receive a copy of this receipt on my email. So let me refresh. It's 9:38 Central Time. And you can see here I have a copy of that receipt. If you remember, I selected manually two different shorts, but the system is grouping those in here, so to consume less, the least amount of paper possible. And I have here a copy of that receipt. So I'm going to go back and log off, and I'm going to show you another view of the point of sale, and we call this the clienteling. So it's a way that we can guide the customer into what they are buying. And again, I have clothing, but of course, you can picture here all the products within the gallery. I'm going to select accessories, and then it's taking me to another segment. Okay, accessories, we have them grouped by scarves, bags, sunglasses, and other. So I'm going to select scarves, and now it's showing me all the possible products that the system has found within this category, and I can apply filters. So, okay, show me only those that are made out of cotton, or show me only those that are machine washable. And again, imagine you can put here the filters, the technique. I want oil painting, or I want this or that. I want landscapes. I want whatever. And I can be having a shorter look of this. And okay, I like this one, but of course, this picture, it's not very representative. So if I click on here, I see again this extended view where I can see a larger picture, and this again can be customized. You can grow this or put stuff in a different order. I can see the full-blown description, what's the price, and what's my current inventory at this store. So to know whether or not I have it available. Or I can do that for this other scarf in here, or I can clear all my filters, or I can go back to another category, bags, sunglasses, or one way up, fashion. So now I'm selecting women, dresses, and I have all of these. And again, my filters, I want those who do not need ironing and made out of cotton. Nothing matches that criteria. Okay, so I have to go with polyester, and I'm going to select this item. Again, the picture. And in here, I am only showing one picture, but you can have as many pictures per item as you want. These are items sold in sizes and colors, so I can select whichever size or whichever color I want to. And once I am ready with my selection, I simply click on the cart and I will add that item. Okay. And let me select one of the accessories because it doesn't have sizes nor colors. So I'm going to add this into my cart. So when I go back into the POS, this is the item I have already selected. And I'm going to cash this one, pay cash. And I also have the option to send it by email. So I'm going to add my email address. And I both printed the receipt. Here is my virtual printer. And I send it to the customer's email address.
Hey, Marco, just real
Yes.
quick, this is Rick. So,
Yeah.
so that can be easily in an 8.5 by 11 format too, couldn't it? If they wanted to print on a like a office printer, for instance.
Yeah, I mean,
Instead of a little receipt, they could print a large.
Yeah, by default, it will send to a ticket printer, but we also support Windows printing. So if this needs to be printed in a full letter page with a regular Windows printer, that can be done as well.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to show you now all the customer orders functions that we were talking about a little bit. And again, you can see now the layout is completely different, colors, distribution of the buttons, and you are again in full control of it. In this example, I am selling electronics, and see again, I have in here tablets, printers. The printers have item pictures, other items, miscellaneous items, etc. So let's say that I want to order this tablet, and I can see here the picture. I can again swipe to the right. I could have started with the clienteling option and seeing there that I have nothing left, but I can see here as many pictures as I have, the full description of the item, and this one, I don't have it available at my store. So I'm going to mark it as a customer order. So you see now it changed its color, because it's going to be a customer order. It's going to be fulfilled by somebody else, not my store. So I'm going to total this order, and in here the system is providing me the options. I currently have this item in my North store and in my South store, and maybe the customer says, don't worry, I will go there myself and collect the item myself. So I can send the instruction to the South store. Somebody's going out there to collect this item. But anything can happen between I have the customer here in my store downtown until she drives all the way to the South store. So this is going to send a notification to the store associates at the South store so that they can reserve that item. They can take it away or out of sight, or put a label sold on top of it, so that it won't be a frustrating thing for my customer to drive all the way there only to find that somebody else took the painting. So this is one of the choices. It's going to be collected directly, and you see the system automatically shows me all the stores that have it. I have like 15 stores in my demo environment, but this item, it's only available right now in these 2. Maybe the customer says, no, I don't want to go all the way to the north. I work here in downtown, so I will collect it here in this very same store. And in here I am telling, okay, the best thing I can do, and this date is in the past, sorry, usually our demos go a few months into the past to show. This is actually 2 days from the system date. So 2 days from now, you can collect it in here. So we are going to handle all the logistics to bring the item, whether from the north or the south store, all the way to the store downtown, to make it available for the customer to come here and collect the item in here. And of course, there are different criteria. Maybe the south store is closer to the store downtown, so maybe the system is going to select the south store. Or maybe there is a a truck delivering items from north to downtown on a daily basis, so maybe north is going to make more sense. So we have ways to control what's the priority when selecting the best possible store when the customer is not going to be collecting at the store directly if I want this to be sent here. Or maybe the customer says, no, please ship this to my place. And they are maybe already a customer on record, or we will take all the information right now so we can ship this to the customer home or office or wherever he wants or she wants this to be delivered. So I'm going to say that the customer wants to collect it here at my own store in downtown. So I'm going to select OK. And now the system is asking me for the customer information. Maybe the customer doesn't want to be on record, so they just want to be a one-time only. Or maybe they are already on record, or I want to create the item, the customer registration. Remember, I was Tom when I was sending the email, so I'm going to select the record that I already have on file for Tom. So now all the information is populated. This is Tom's name, address, phone number, etc. So now I have all the information. But remember, Tom is going to come back to my store afterwards. So I'm going to confirm the order, and I have the choice. Do you want to pay for it right now or by the time you come back? Maybe Tom wants to pay already, or maybe your procedures demand for this order to be paid in full. So I'm going to select a yes to pay in full, and it's a total of $230. So I'm going to cash the sale, and it's going to be for $230, and maybe Tom is paying with $250. And again, I have the choice to send this to Tom's email. But since I already added Tom on the transaction, I already know Tom's email address. But in case I want to change it for another one, I can do so, or I will send it directly to Tom's email. And you see here my email. I already received that confirmation. And in here, I have the receipt. I created order number 12, and it was for $230, and it's already paid in full. So I do not own anything for this order. Okay. How are you doing so far? So good.
Are you?
Yep.
Are you asking if I'm doing okay?
Exactly. And also, if you can see here, okay, and listen, because sometimes Kristen can tell that internet doesn't have a word of honor. And by the way, I would like to welcome my colleague Kayla Magnan. She just joined, but she didn't interrupt. And well, she works also with us in the Americas sales team. Hello, Kayla.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for the intro, Marco.
Hello.
Okay, so I'm going back into the back office, and I'm going to check the customer orders that I have. So let me go to customer orders. By the way, there is a shortcut here on the top, so I can simply type whatever I want to do, and the system it's gonna take me there. And I can see here the order that I have. So it needs to be fulfilled. No, this is not the order. Was this number 8? No, it was order number 12. Oh, sorry, I closed everything. So in here, I can see customer order number 12, and the system assigned it to be fulfilled from store number 3. Mine was store number 1. So somebody at store number 3 will get this notification. Somebody requested this item, and this needs to be sent somewhere. So I'm going to go virtually into store number 3. Let me make sure here that I'm logged in store number 3. Yes, I am. Okay. So I'm going to open the point of sales of store number 3. Okay, I did something wrong. I need to make this change in here. Fire. Oh, sorry. Okay. Now I'm going to go to store number 3. And I'm going to log in as employee 301. And again, you can see how it's completely different, again, the point of sales. And I can check the customer orders, and I can see that order number 12 was ordered today at 9:48 a.m., and that I need to pick it and send it somewhere. So I'm going to select it, and I'm going to pick it. This is the item that I'm going to send. So I can even print a picking list. So I can go into my store, into my gallery, and pick the items that I need to send. And once I have them, I'm going to mark this one that was already picked, and I'm going to confirm this picking. So please prepare this order to be transferred to store number 1. So it's also going to produce all the paperwork needed to send these all the way to store number 1. And now this has been shipped to store number 1. So let me log off again from here. And I'm going back to my store number 1. And here under customer orders, I can see that which orders are ready to be picked or ready to be collected, or I can even put it back whenever an order is canceled. So whenever the customer arrives, I can confirm it's before the customer arrives. I can confirm the customer that the items have arrived. So this is going to send a confirmation to the customer. It's going to send a confirmation by email, and also with our mobile app that I will show you right after this, they can also see a notification there, just like when you receive a new message, or like the Amazon app will tell you your items are on the way. It will send them the notification. Your items are here at the store for you to collect. And I can even add a note, I don't know, come to customer service or something like that, that will be included into the message. And now I have sent this confirmation. And I even printed this collect list. So these items are ready to be collected, and I will put this on top of these items or behind of it, wherever I put the items to be collected. This print can also be together with it. And so now the customer is going to arrive, and these are the items I have to be collected. This is order number 12 for Tom Thompson. And Tom is picking up this item, in this case, this tablet. So now I have the tablet on a point of sales transaction. It's for 230. I can see that this is already paid in full. So all I have to do is to deliver the items. So I'm gonna cash this in zero because there is no cash involved right now. It's just issuing the delivery. And again, I'm gonna send it to Tom's email. So this is what I printed, this receipt, which is a proof that I am delivering this item. I am collecting this with the prepayment for this customer order, so the total is zero, and this item has been delivered. Also notice that since this is Tom, so I already know Tom, it's a regular customer of ours, Tom, it's getting 230 points out of this transaction into his loyalty program. And I have that very same receipt here on email. Okay, so I just show you the way where Tom would collect these at the very same store, but you can see it's pretty similar. I could have selected Tom will collect these at the north or at the south store, or I could even ship these directly to Tom's place from the back office of the solution. I don't know if you have any questions regarding our customer order functionality, which, well, during our discussions between Rick, Kayla, and myself, we saw that this could be a very important element in your organization.
Yes. Could you go back and just pick an item at random, and this time click ship instead of customer pickup?
Absolutely. Let me select this other tablet in here, and I'm going to flag it also as a customer order. And by the time I want to total this, I have again the options: pick at north, south store, at this same store, or ship them directly to Tom's house. I'm gonna look for Tom again into the database. So I added Tom into the transaction, and I'm gonna confirm the order. In this case, the system is prompting for a shipping cost. Maybe you have a DHL, FedEx, something, and you can calculate that on their website and punch in here the amount. Of course, we have also plans to have some rules on calculating the shipping cost on further versions, but so far it's simply an amount that you type in here. So it's going to be 25 for the shipping and handling, plus 224. That was the total price for this tablet, and I'm going to cash it. It's 249. It's going to be 250, and I'm going to send it again to Tom's email. But let me see the print. This is what was printed. Give me a second, please. I need to take this one.
Hey, Jim, real quick. This is Rick. On your what are you using now for a shipping solution?
Well, right now our system is double entry. We have to look at the system and say, okay, we have this ready to ship. We've got to go to FedEx Ship Manager, print a label, and then go back into the accounting system and show that we shipped it.
Okay, and you use FedEx, you say? Yeah.
Yes.
There's a couple. Well, one, this solution, this whole solution, ties in very nicely with. There's a lot of like slight aftermarket pieces that have been added here, you know, for people, and especially in shipping. There's a lot of shipping stuff. So one, there's you know, a couple of solutions. One, Lanham eShip, which picks, you know, and will pick the cheapest, the best, you know, whatever. There's all kinds of levels of that. That's relatively inexpensive and works really, really well with the solution. Where, in other words, what's going to happen is it's going to ask you, you know, maybe put it on a scale, or you've already got a weight set up, you know, especially if there's framing involved. You know, once you have that, it will add that. Basically, what it does is create their manifest for them, and then a lot of times people will have UPS, FedEx, maybe DHL, whatever, you know, whatever the choices are. There are Other options which can carry, for LTL shipping, for large, wholesale orders. There's also this, I'll have to think of the name of it, but it's a relatively inexpensive app that you can download for shipping that integrates in the sense that it sends out the order to it, and it will print all the labels and do everything. So there's a lot there. Marco's just showing you a generic version of that currently. So, you have a lot of options in that. And there are a number of other things I want to point out to you later, but right now I'll let him go back. You back, Marco?
I am back. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Rick. Exactly. The shipping can be done in many different ways. That's why we have a very simple approach. Simply punch in what the shipping calculation was. And this is what it prints. Now I created a customer order number 13. This is the item that is to be shipped. I am prepaying for the shipment. And this is the order total for the item. So this is what the customer will walk out from the store with this. And by the way, if you see here, well, these are of course pound signs, but when being printed on a real ticket printer, it's gonna print a barcode. So whenever the customer comes back to the store, hey, I want to ask for some information about this order, all it takes is to scan this barcode, and the system will show that information on the screen.
Can you, Marco, can you go to, I know this would be skipping around a little bit, but could you go to, let's ship this item now, show how you would go about shipping it. A while ago, you showed a customer pickup. Where would you go now to ship this item?
Okay, so now the action doesn't take place at the POS anymore, because we are shipping these directly from the corporate office, and the corporate office uses the back office that I was showing you in the beginning. So if I selected the buyer, remember that there was another profile here showing the customer orders. Anyway, I can add it in here. It's gonna show me here and the customer orders button 1, 2, 3, 5, whatever it's piling up, because these are the ones that I need to ship. So I need to take action. So this activities section, it's the take action section of the solution. And I would see there that I have customer order number 13 and that it's ready for picking. So this is the order. It's ready for picking. It's going to be, again, sent from, in this case, selected store number 3. It could have been the warehouse. Who is it going to be sent to? Where is it going to be shipped? What's the totals, the pricing, everything that was paid? All the information of the order, it's here. And again, this can take two different ways. It can either be shipped from a warehouse. So I would take the next action in here, but in this case, based on the fulfillment rules, and let me show you the fulfillment rules to make it a little bit clearer, it's going to be fulfilled from store number 3. Here on every store, my store, remember it was store number 1. My store in here, these are the sourcing rules that I have. So if you see the store number 3 has a 1-day lead time shipping. Store number 4 has 1 day as well. Number 7 and 9 has 2 days. And the warehouse, it has a 2 days lead time. So in this case, the system decided to ship it from store number 3 because from store number 3, we have a lead time of 1 day, which is way faster than the warehouse number 1 or the warehouse number 2. So even though warehouse number 1 has a largest priority, the first criteria is the lead time and then the priority. So if you see store number 3 and 4, they have a lead time of 1 day, but store number 3 has a higher priority when it comes to fulfilling the orders of store number 1. Okay, so maybe if a warehouse number 1 would also have 1 day lead time, and since it has the priority number 1, then this is the one that would have been selected. And also, maybe I cannot ship from all places. Maybe the stores are not capable of shipping directly. So if I remove this flag, well, they are not eligible for shipping. So if store number 3, 4, and 7 would have not been shipping locations, then it would have looked for the shortest lead time and the highest priority that ships items directly. Okay. So
I'm assuming that you could override those criteria.
yeah, you can override those. I could take over the order from store number 3 and ship it directly from the warehouse if I want to. It all depends on. It's actually on a case by case need to be completely honest, because maybe you need to call the store, verify. I have already shipped for the day, and the truck it's not coming until 5 days from now. So maybe I want to ship it directly from the warehouse, and I would simply take over this sales order number 13, and I would change the sourcing of that order, and I don't have it in here. But again, I would simply select it like any other order and change the warehouse and ship it from here. And from here, I handle all the rest of the order, and I have again here the shipping and billing information, and I can even select our own logistics or FedEx, UPS, whatever we have on this one, and print the packing slip and ship it from here.
Does it pull inventory by what you tell it to pull it from, or is it by how you're logged in? Like if I'm shipping this at the warehouse, does it pull it from warehouse inventory, or do I have to tell it to pull it from warehouse inventory?
That's a very good question. Usually the people at the store, we want them to only be able to see their own store. So that they won't by mistake be consuming the the stock from a different store that it's maybe in another state or that has no relationship with them. So when it comes to retail users, they are tied to their own warehouse. So maybe I'm the store manager at store number 1, and I am tied to the inventory of store number 1. But the retail buyer doesn't have any constraint when it comes to locations, to warehouses, or this super user as well doesn't have any restriction. So those users with no restriction, they can select in here which location, which warehouse they are going to be fulfilling this. So they are super users, they have more flexibility, but the store associates, they can only handle their own store. I don't know if this answers your question, Kristen.
So if I'm store number 1 and I don't have that inventory, can I look at store number 2 to see if they have that inventory or no?
Yeah.
If I don't have all the... Right.
Exactly. You have, again, you also have a list that controls which warehouses, which other stores you can look into. I don't know, maybe I'm West Coast and it doesn't make any sense to see the stores on the East Coast or something like that. Or it can be the full assortment of all the stores. And let me go back into the POS and I can show you how you can see a full list of all the inventory at all the different stores out there.
Yeah, Marco, their stores, I think, are relatively close proximity with a few exceptions. So I think they're
right.
Am I right? They're relatively close. So you're probably looking at 1 day shipping or whatever, no matter how you do it.
It could actually be driven.
Okay. So you see, I have here the lookup and I see in this briefcase, and I want to check the inventory. And you can see it's showing me the current inventory at store number 1, mine highlighted, at store number 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 13, or this can even be a warehouse. And notice something, I have stock available at store number 2, But when I select this to be a customer order, it's never giving me the option store number 2. It's always giving me the option of stores number 3 and 4. And that's because store number 2, it's not a valid sourcing location for store number 1. So it all depends on how I configure the system. In your case, it's going to be every store can be fulfilled from any other. So all of them are going to be on the list. But I don't know, maybe this is a very small location at a mall and you don't want to ship out of this one directly because it's very difficult for FedEx to go inside the mall and take the goods, etc. So you will not flag this one as a shipping location. So all the large galleries will handle the shipping, or maybe the main warehouse. It's quite flexible, and actually it will match to your actual needs.
Okay.
Okay, and now did we answer your question, Kristen?
I think so.
Very good. Very good. Okay, Jim, I don't know if you have any other question. Did we answer your question regarding shipping?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so I would like to show you our mobile apps, and I will put those on the screen. And let me show my phone on the screen. Here it is. Okay. And here I have all of our solutions. We have 2 solutions that are meant to be used by the store associates, by your staff, and 2 other solutions that are meant to be used by your consumers. And well, it's very clear in case you are in the hospitality business, this is the app, but that's not the case. So for the gallery, this could be the solution. So I'm going to start with these 2, which are for the store associates. And we have an inventory control solution, and also, okay, my phone went to sleep, and a mobile POS. I'm going to start with the mobile POS. And from here, I can log in into the solution. So my login is okay. It's synchronizing because it has a small database inside of the mobile device to make it easier to access the information. And from here, I can start a sale. I can even I have a guide on the first time I use it, so it will guide me on how to use the solution. And I can have here pictures of the top selling items or the items that are right now on exhibit at the gallery. So whenever I can be walking the gallery with a customer and they can ask, tell me more about this painting, I can simply select it in here on my phone, and I can show again the item picture and the full-blown description. In this case, this hat doesn't have a description, but if you see, I have some real estate here in this part of the screen. I will see again the same full-blown description that I was showing you on the point of sale. Yes.
I have a question about the app. If we tell a customer that they can download this app to their phone and then give them login credentials, can they order directly from this app?
Exactly, but that's why we have 2 apps. This is the app for the store associate, and I will show you immediately the app that it's tailored for your consumers to use. Okay, since I am the store associate, of course, I can see the stock. And remember, Kristen, seeing the stock of all the other stores. If I put my finger on top of that one, I will see all the other stores and what's the inventory that they currently have. Okay, and again, the briefcase, I'm going to select it. I currently have 307, and if I put my finger on top of this, I can see what's the inventory of all the other stores. So everything from my phone. This is an iPhone, but this works exactly the same way on an Android device. And in here now I have an interesting sale. The customer has already ordered these 3 items. 3 items in here. What's the total? So if I press with my finger the total, I can see the total, and I can even use the phone to collect for these items. They can either pay cash or credit, or maybe I was just walking the gallery with them, and I can tell them to go and pay at the till, to go and pay at the cashier. So I can simply suspend the transaction in here, and they can go to the next available till, and they can pay there. So if I go back to the point of sales, I can look for the suspended transactions, and I can grab it from here. And here are the hat, the scarf, the briefcase that was ordered originally on the phone by the store associate, and I can pay at the till. Okay. The other option would be to collect it directly from here, from the mobile phone. I'm going to select this purse in here, and I'm going to pay cash. If you find a way for the people to handle the cash in their pockets while they're working the store, of course, this can also be credit card, and they pay in cash. And it's asking me if I want to send it by email. So again, I'm going to punch in my email address. And directly from my mobile phone, it just sent the ticket to the customer's email. And it can even be a paperless solution. Because let me refresh the email in here. I have here the receipt of the bag that was sold using the mobile phone. And as Jim was asking, well, this is the app that it's meant to be used by the store associates. This app, it's meant to be used by our consumers. Of course, it has my logo, and we created this fake quality store logo just to illustrate that this is where we would put your company logo. And I have here a welcome screen because I just downloaded the app, and maybe I'm not even enrolled as a customer. So I can sign up directly from here. I can put my name, email address, a password, confirm my password. And in here, this is a very interesting section. This is my interest. Why is it that I am interested in here? Do I own an art gallery and I come here to buy stuff? I am a painter myself. What are my interests? What kind of art do I like? And I can flag here as many as I want to, because this way it will help you segment your customer. Now you know what they like, and maybe you can create a campaign, or maybe you can push them a special promotion based on the interest that they shared with you. Of course, once they become a customer and they start buying regularly at our stores, we will get to know what is it that they like, and we can also build our segmentation based on their history. But this is a chance we give them for to provide us with that information, which we may not know.
Are those profiles customizable?
Exactly. You can create these 5 questions that I have here. These are just 5 that I created in the member management, and I will show you that I have more than these 5. For instance, I am not asking for the birthday of the person, but if you want to ask them, a new line needs to be added in here so we can get the birthday from the person, and maybe you can create promotions based on their birthday. I have no address information right here. Maybe you want to include it, and we can also segment by zip code or stuff like that.
I know this app that we're looking at right now is for the retail customer, but going back to the one that you showed us a moment ago for the salesperson to use, does when we're looking at the cost of this system, does that log on from a mobile app like this, does that count as a user?
Yeah. Actually, the licensing, it's not by user, it's by device. Because a device at a store, it's shared by a lot of people. Maybe you only have 1 computer at the gallery, but you have a store manager and 3 salespeople in 2 different shifts. So licensing by the named user would be a cost prohibitive. So we license by devices. You only have one POS at the store, and maybe you have one tablet at the store. So that's 2 devices, and we will put a price on the license per device. And of course, Rick can go into detail with you on the pricing based on the number of existing galleries and devices that you have, or you want to add. Maybe you want to add the mobile devices, and he will come with a proposal on the licensing.
Well, Rick, remember that customer. We'll talk about it later, but what I'm wondering
Yep.
about is if every single salesperson used their own smartphone. We'll talk about that later between me and you, but
Yeah.
I'm curious
Okay.
how that went to the cost.
Yeah, and I want to point out something while we're talking about these mobile apps. So clearly, you know, I could see, and I mean, you've been doing it, so you know exactly what, you know, you could do with something like this. Now, any kind of tablet works, you know, in a nice, clean environment gallery, walking around with a cute little iPad or something would be probably, you know, very acceptable. You don't need an industrial device. I mean, this also works with those too, you know, as opposed to somebody who's going to take a credit card right on the device itself, which you can do on phones, tablets, or whatever. But what I was getting at is the idea of collecting customer information as much as you can, as much as they'll want to give you. You could actually start, you know, a new customer, not necessarily know their name or anything at that point other than just their first and last name, start a profile while you're walking around talking to them. You know, likes this, click, you know, whatever you want to do. You set up a whole list of questions, and this can be part of your customer profile that you build from internally, or that the customer can fill out on the app once they've become. So I'm seeing mostly the people on the app are going to be the people who've already shopped with you, been in the store, and then become a customer advocate. So essentially, it's easy for them to order. So maybe they're already signed up. All they have to do is sign up on the app, and then all of their customer history is available to them. When, you know, however much, you know, we have in the system, however often they've shopped, it will be on there, whether they bought it online or bought it through the app or bought it, you know, in the store. So there's actually an extra internet, essentially, is what it is. So this is your store version here. So obviously a lot of differences. So if that makes sense, and then we'll talk about licensing later. I'm sorry, Marco, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No problem. No problem. So going back to the customer app, now I logged in, and again I am Tom Thompson, and talking about the loyalty points, I currently have 55,000. For instance, in here right now it's displaying the company logo, but it can also be showing banners with publicity, with our next coming events, stuff like that. That can also be customized. It can also show me the store locations, so I can see all of them in the map, or I can see one gallery at a time. I can show a nice picture of the gallery. I can open it. I can see the address of the gallery. I can see the phone number of the gallery and the opening hours. I can even dial the phone right now if I want to, or I can ask for directions to drive myself all the way there. But this is in England, I think, the addresses we used, so it's going to be hard for me to drive all the way there. Yeah, you can see there, that's where the store is. This is the Newcastle store. And I can even show all of them on the map. Well, this is where home is. As Rick told you, I'm based out of Mexico City. But here they are. All my stores are in this sample. They are located all through London. Okay. What else can I do from here? I can see the notifications. I can send general messages. Please remember our offers, or our phone number has changed, or there's a grand opening next week, a new gallery, stuff like that. General announcements, or also specific announcements for this particular customer. The customer can also see the history, everything they have bought from us. And you can see I even have the transactions from today. They are already refreshed. The tablet that I just bought, it's here already. So I can see everything that I have bought at any given store, the South store, the North store. So all of my transactions. So remember that I bought this painting, what it was, etc. They can come here back and look for it. They can also have a wish list because they can also browse all of our gallery. Well, all of it or whatever we decide to publish. Of course, you are in control on what they can see. So you can see I have a very large assortment of items in here. If I select this category, audio video, I have accessories, DVDs, etc. Let me select under accessories. I'm going to select this mouse. And again, I know that a wireless mouse, it's not the top selling item over there, but I want to show you this one because I have plenty of pictures loaded on this mouse. And you can see I simply swipe my fingers right and left, left and right, and I can see all the pictures. I also have the full-blown description of the item that the consumer himself can see on screen. If they want to check availability, of course, I'm not going to tell them how many items I have on every single store, same as the store associate would see. I am simply going to limit to show this item, it's available at these stores right now. So this item, it's currently available only at the South store. And the customer can decide to drive all the way there and get it themselves. Or they can, maybe they liked it and they can add it to the wish list. So whenever they come back, they can go and check their wish list and see what is it that they have flagged in their wish list. Oh yeah, this painting, I love it. And also this information is shared with you over there in the corporate office. So you can see, well, Marco is showing some interest for this painting. It's currently priced 8. Well, why don't we give Marco an incentive and let's issue a discount for him and for him only. So to give him more reasons to come and buy it. And also last but not least, you can see I have my basket in here. So I can put this on the basket and continue adding and buying some more stuff. So I already have this painting of a wireless mouse on my basket, and I can check out. And in here I can see, well, this is a mouse that it's worth 8, in this case, pounds. It's just an example, of course. And I can proceed and place the order. And I have here the two options: have it delivered directly to my home, or I can select a store, a gallery, and collect it myself. Okay, so if I want to select a gallery, it's going to show me all of the available ones. And well, the store that I want to pick it up, it's store number 1. And I'm going to place the order. So again, it's going to be the same process as before. It's going to be on the queue of orders to be picked. I don't have it in this example. I think I was using this other one. Yeah, the electronics. So here under the customer orders, this is the order that I just created as a consumer. So Tom directly created this order from his phone, and well, I can pick it to have it ready for Tom to come by and collect it. So as you can see, it goes into the same queue, it goes into the same functionality, but this time this was triggered directly by the consumer from their mobile phone. Any questions so far?
No, I think you're covering it.
Okay, very good. And also, let me show you, we have a integration with the web stores. Actually, the web store, it's not powered by LS Retail. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel. There are very, very good web stores out there. So we have integrated with 4 of the most representative ones, and we are adding more integrations all the time. And so this is the web store that we have integrated. This is a sample store, of course. And so all the items that you handle in the back office are sent automatically into this web store. And also we have the options to finalize whether shipping directly to the customer or the famous click and collect at the store. So maybe, I don't know, I want these jeans and I want to add them to the cart. Now they are in the cart, and I'm gonna proceed to the checkout. And if I am already a member, as you remember, I am Tom, so I'm gonna log in as Tom. So whether it's on the mobile app or on the e-commerce site, I'm gonna log in with the same credentials, the same user, the same password. Oh, it's email address, sorry. Tom at Tom XXX. And now that I am logged in as Tom, I can click and collect and select any given store, or I want it shipped directly to my place. Okay, and well, if we are paying, of course, the e-commerce site supports different paying options, methods, that it's something you subscribe based on the vendor of the mobile store that you select, and that's handled by the web store. Sorry. And
the screen that we're looking at right now.
Sorry.
Is the screen that we're looking at right now, is this part of LSNAV or is this part of Magento?
This is part of Magento. Actually, the only thing that we at LS Retail do is that we fully integrate the login, the Magento login and the LS Retail login, the login that I used on the mobile app. We integrate that login. Maybe the customer created their profile here on Magento, so we will take that profile also into LSNAV, and that can be used at the store or at the mobile device. So it's a single sign-on, whether I join the program directly at the POS at any given gallery, directly from the mobile app, or from Magento. That's the first thing we integrate, the login. The other thing we integrate is the item master. The items are created directly into LSNAV, and they are pushed all the way to Magento with the description, the single description, the extended description, and the item pictures. We push that into Magento, and the base price, of course. And at the time of yes?
You also integrate with Shopify?
Not yet. Actually, we started with NotCommerce, and everybody was asking about Magento. So we went into Magento, and once we integrated Magento, we also agreed with another couple of web stores, the Dynamic Web and the Avency Storefront, and now everybody's asking about Shopify and WooCommerce.
And we also have,
yeah.
This is Rick jumping in. We also have a very, very nice integration with NitroCell. Now, the thing that you have to remember in all of those, to some extent, you know, Magento in particular, Shopify, you may do yourself. WooCommerce, you're going to have somebody create the look and the feel of so you're going to have a third party there for that. The NitroCell, which has been around probably the longest and has now become quite a good competitor to Magento, which doesn't make any difference to us. I mean, we want to help you. But I'm just saying NitroCell is actually a one-stop shop. They'll actually do the web design. So if yours is already Shopify, for instance, they can make it look like what you have now. And, you know, where you wouldn't really know any difference. The difference is the platform that integrates to the site. So what Marco's saying and what we do on our end is we provide the integration to the items. So once the site's set up, other than programming the look and the feel and the motion of the motion as you go from one page to another is really programmed from within LSNav. So LSNav has got the items, it's got the push, all the pictures, all the descriptions, all the pricing, everything is going to go up there to match that. So what the web is going to become for you then is a glorified cash register, in a sense. You know, other than you being able to pull, because you're going to be able to create new customers on there, pull them down, they'll see their history just like they did on that app. Part of that is what we do. You know, we actually connect it, but there's a very nice connection for Magento, as he's showing you, and there's a very nice connection for NitroCell. Just some of them have a very broad strokes in how much that all costs you. And NitroCell is one of the few that is done by the company, so you don't have a third party other than the company itself, and it's quite inexpensive in comparison. So just to give you an idea where you go, I mean, we have some Magento ones that are $100,000 spent on the implementation of it, but they're doing engraving, they're doing all kinds of fancy stuff on the side. There are registries that you can put in here for registering, but some of them are very inexpensive. Shopify would be one of the more inexpensive versions. And we've done some integrations to a number of other ones that he didn't mention also. But again, it's just the simple one is probably the NitroCell, and I'll show you that later, and you can get an idea how that goes. But that's very cost effective. But at any rate, it becomes basically an arm to your business, not the other way around. We don't want it to be holding all your customers and divide. You own your customers, you own your products and the data. And all the mining of the data, all that's going to be done from internally in your system, LSNav system. You don't need information from the site to tell you that. So, which you would if it was unconnected, totally. So, all right, I'm sorry I didn't mean to interrupt so much, but yeah, there's a big story there on that one. So.
No, it's okay, Rick.
Go ahead,
problem.
Marco.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, exactly. So this is what we integrate. We directly LS Retail. There are other companies offering the integrations they created themselves, and I mean whatever works for your solution. We selected Magento because we saw that at least a couple of years ago that was what everybody was using out there, and we are always innovating in LS Retail. As I said, two of these other e-commerce solutions, they came to us, they approached to us, and they build in cooperation with us the integrations. That's the case of a Dynamic Web and Avencia Storefront. And I'm pretty sure we are also in communication with NitroCell. Okay, well, I just wanted to go back to the back office to show some reporting in case that you don't have any other specific questions. Some of the reports that I like the most, it's the hourly store sales, because in here you can see the full big picture of the entire organization. This is one column for every store, for every gallery, and I can see what the store sales are hour by hour, from 10 to 11, 11 to 12. This is what I'm selling at store number 1, 800. Store number 2 is selling 2,000, 21,000, etc. And I have many other statistics, not only the gross sales, but how many items I am selling by the hour at every single store, how many transactions, how many customers I'm serving by the hour, the so-called average ticket. I can see it in here. So these are just some of the statistics that the system can show. And these are operational reports. Of course, for the strategic ones, there is always the so famous business intelligence that can be used to analyze. And we also offer a couple of options for business intelligence. One that it's online as a service, where we collect the data and we show it only to you, of course, and we handle all the storing and transferring and creation of these business intelligence cubes, and another one that it's on a perpetual licensing that it's installed directly on your servers, where you can create and manage all these business intelligence cubes yourselves. Okay. And I don't know if I took over Greg's time, Rick, or how are we doing in terms of time?
I'm sorry, I'm on mute here. I apologize. Did you guys want to see some of the accounting back end, or maybe some more item detail information? I know you were interested in serialization and all that, and different things we can do. Clearly, that's all in there. And do you want to see that now, or would you like to schedule that at a different time? I know this all takes quite a bit of time, as you see.
Let me ask you to look at one thing. You probably already have an item in your item list that is serialized. Could you show me an item lookup for something that's serialized?
Sure. Kayla, do you remember which one of those it's serialized? I know it's within electronics.
Ooh, out of the electronics, I don't know. I was gonna say isn't the dishwasher, or am I thinking of LS1?
Let me go and check.
As you tell, this is a sample database, so there's setups for almost everything in here, including bill of material stuff and all that too, you know, which could get into custom framing and other things you might want to do.
Theater one. Sorry, Rick.
Oh, good. You got one. Okay.
It's a dishwasher then? No, this is not the one.
Did she say home theater? I thought she did.
The home theater?
Yeah, that was my second one. If it wasn't the dishwasher, I think it may be the home theater.
Let me see. Tracking. No, it's not the home theater. The dishwasher. Yeah, because since they are already pre-existing items and with history, I cannot simply add a.
Can you take an item that is not currently serialized and make it serialized after it's been created by editing it, or is that something that has to be done at the time that the item is created?
I mean, it can be done not immediately after creating the item. It's just as long as it doesn't have history, because it's not going to be consistent that you have 5 items in stock with no serial number, and from now on, the new items will need a serial number. Let me see.
So basically, if you forget to make it a serialized item, you have to make it a serialized item before you purchase any inventory.
And actually, we have in here, that's a good question, because we are all humans and we can all make mistakes. And we have an item validation here, capability, item error check. And so this item error check, it's linked on the type of items. So if we know, as Kayla was saying, for instance, that all the home theaters, that all the electronics have a serial number, then we can assign an error check to these electronics. So whenever I am creating an item, once it is saved, because sometimes items can also be imported. Sometimes we get electronic catalogs from our vendors, and the system has importing capabilities. It will perform this error check. And based on the error check, it's going to issue an error saying, okay, this item still lacks a serial number, a configuration, or it's lacking item pictures or full-blown description. And you can see here on the right, we have some blockings. So based on this error check, the system would block or not the items for certain stuff. Because maybe I don't have the item pictures, but I still can buy it. Maybe I still need to buy it to have it here in the gallery to take the pictures, but maybe I don't want to put it on sale until something happens. So this error check can decide, okay, it's currently available for buying, but it's not currently available for selling or for transferring or to go into promotions, etc. And based on the way the item evolves, this item checking would be unblocking some goods. And it's not only for errors. Sometimes maybe we just create an item today, and this happens all the time for all the retailers. If somebody over there at the office is creating a new item because we are gonna order this next week, and perhaps it's gonna arrive 2 months from now. And 5 minutes later, after the item was created, it starts reporting sales. Because maybe somebody at the store by mistake selects that item from the list and sells it already. So that's also something we can control. If we are in the process of creating the items only, we can make sure it's blocked on all the other transactions to avoid this item to be picked by mistake by somebody else. Okay.
As Marco is saying, this is loaded with rules. So as you see there, now to answer your original question, if we goofed up and did that, you know, we can figure a way around it. Really what it is a reporting issue, and it's going to tell us that we sold some without numbers. And maybe we brought one in, it was the only one there was, and then it became available with numbers later. I mean, we can do anything you want to do, really. The proper way to do it, though, is like you said, we create the rules of how this is all going to be. If everything's going to be serialized for the most part, then we make sure we set that up in the rules and setting up items, and people won't make those mistakes. It goes totally to turning it on until there's a serial number available. It's just in the catalog to look at, and nobody's going to be able to sell it or order it until that becomes available, once we know what the numbers are. So I know that's an important thing, and we would make that a priority in setting that up for you. It's not just an afterthought, because like I said, at the back end of this thing is a manufacturing system that counts on all those things, lot numbers. You can go on and on and on, expiration dates and all kinds of metadata that you can add in here to make it important. So, you know, from that point of view, I hope that helps a little bit.
And I found the serialized item. It's the MP3 player, and not all serial numbers are treated equal, because there are also rules that can be set behind a serial number. Whether I'm going to track it ever since the beginning when I am buying it, so all the logistics, transfers coming back and forth between locations, stores, etc. Do I need to control the barcode ever since the beginning, or maybe I just want to control the barcode at the time that I am selling it? Those are decisions that you can also take when setting up the system. And in here you can see what are the serial numbers. Maybe the system is gonna assign the serial number itself, or the items are already bought with a serial number. That's also another decision when it comes to serial numbers. So I'm gonna go to the POS and sell this item, the MP3 player. Again on the electronics. So I'm gonna sell this item, the MP3 player, and now it is asking me for a serial number. So in this case, I could simply scan the serial number, or I also have the choice to have a lookup where I can look up for the serial numbers. Maybe I don't have items available right now. So it's either I scan it, I type it, or I look it from a list. Since I don't have it, I also have the choice, and this is again setup, to let me select the MP3 number. I'm gonna punch serial number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's gonna ask me, okay, I didn't find this serial number in the database. Do you want to continue or not? So I don't know, maybe it is the right serial number. I can see there, it's there on the painting, but somehow it's not found by the system. But I don't want to stop the sales process. I want the customer to leave the store with the painting. So I'm gonna say yes. So it's gonna let it go through right now, but before the end of the day, when closing the store, I need to take action on why this serial number was not there. Maybe I can call the office. What happened? Well, that was sent on transfer order number 45, and then maybe somebody can go and look. Okay, I didn't receive this transfer order, and I can receive it, do an adjustment, do whatever, so that by the end of the day, when posting the end of the day, the right serial number is going to be used. Again, this is just an option. I could have simply stopped the transaction and not allow it to go any further if the serial number was not found.
Could you have left the serial number just empty?
I don't know if I could have left it empty.
Try adding that item again and see if it will let you just continue without putting anything in there, without making up something, in other words.
Serial number, no. Serial number empty. Let me void this one. No, I think it needs to have something, at least the serial number. Let me void this transaction. Add the item again. Serial number. No, I need to put at least something, even not found. Under the rule that I have right now, that it's allowing me to go through with a serial number not being validated, it would sell it as a not found serial number. Or again, I could force the system to validate it from the list.
And remember, this is time stamping everything, right? So everything that occurs, sold, log customer, log on, employee check in for the day, everything that happens is internally time stamped, and as to what and who and when and where.
Okay.
Rick, why don't you call me at your earliest convenience and let's set up a time for a second demo.
You got it. I will do that. I can call you. You available this afternoon?
I mean, you could call me right after we end this.
Okay.
If you want.
I'll give you a call. Sure. I'll give you a quick call. Yeah, as soon as we're done here. Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Well, if there are no other questions, I would like to thank you in the name of Kayla and myself for your time and attention today. We hope you have enjoyed this session and liked our solution. And Jim, Kristen, you're in good hands with Rick, who usually invites us to these kinds of sessions, and they are very valuable for us at LS Retail. And once again, thanks so very much for your time.
Thank you. You have a good day.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. You did a great job. Yep. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
I'll end this, and I'll give you a call here in just a second. All right.